Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me again. This is Dr. Marilyn Scott with TOKOVLradio.com. Back from station identification and the commercial that Lady Ray J puts in, and I appreciate Lady Ray J for working with me on this. It is Sunday afternoon, and I am here on this radio station to get you guys rocking and rolling for the week. Normally, like I said, we turn our brains off on a Friday evening, and we don't turn them off till Sunday night. We don't turn them on until Sunday night. And then we start feeling stressful, and we start feeling anxious, and we start feeling fearful about, oh my goodness, I got to get up and go to work on Monday. But have no fear. When you do that, you don't have to get up. Normally, people don't have to get up and go to work. You can walk several steps in your PJs if you want, to your office, wherever your office is, sit at your computer, and you don't have to get in the car. You don't have to, you can stay and do it in your PJs for a while. Who is going to see you unless you have a meeting? So my goal is to get people going, and I want to get every one of you going and get happy and find peace and tranquility and happiness and be grateful for what you have. There's a lot of things to be grateful out there. And one of the things I'm grateful for is Shawna Haley, who wrote the book, Goddess Awakening, Rise Women. And I'm so glad that she opted to, and she agreed to meet with me on my radio show. We've been trying to do for a while, we've been trying to do a book launch at my house, and it hasn't turned out. And then we couldn't do it because we're at this 6-foot sequestering, which that's what I call it. And so I have invited Shawna as my first guest on TOKOVRadio.com to talk about her book, Goddess Awakening, Rise Women. So Shawna, thank you so much for joining me. And how are you today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm excited about being here and spending this half hour with you.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So when did you write this book?
I wrote this book, it was published earlier this year, but however, I started the process about June of 2019. And this book actually came out of a series of what I call Awakening for Me. I wrote a couple of other books, but this one, was all about confidently and authentically and unapologetically walking by faith and not by sight, and just trusting my inner spirit, because I believe all women are goddesses, and I wanted to make sure that we all feel that confidence within ourselves.
That's great. Now, do you think this book would be good for a guy to help with their significant other? There's a person that is in a meeting that I go to. It's called Pro Business Community, and he's really, really interested, in my opinion, in helping the women, either in his life or the women that he works with, to make them realize that, yeah, you guys are really cool. You guys are goddesses. So do you think if a man got this book and took the time to read it, because it's a good read, it doesn't take really long. It's like my book, my book's like what they call the bathroom book, because you can read a couple chapters and then you're done and you can just put it down. Truly. So, and I like the fact that at the end of your chapters, you have a page for notes that people can write in, because I did that myself for my book. Number one, I did it so people could write notes. Number two, right, I did it so I wouldn't have to write so much.
Okay.
That's why I did it. So do you think this book would be good for a guy to give it to their woman, or to read it so they can understand more of what's going on? Maybe my wife is a goddess, or maybe my girlfriend is a goddess.
You know what? Yes, they can. And the reason I say that is because when a person understands about themselves, they have so much more to offer. And as women, when we take the time to pour into ourselves and to understand who we are, what our desires are, what we bring to the table, then we become less, I would say, less of a pain to somebody else, because we're not looking for somebody else to fulfill those needs that only we can do ourselves. So this book is what I would call a gateway to women understanding themselves and really looking into to themselves. And I think if he purchased the book, it will be a place for him, not only to, it will be a great gift to his partner, because as she understands herself, as she feels more like a goddess, then what she brings to the table will be extraordinary.
Right, because I read the book again yesterday because I wanted to know what I was talking about. So, and I owed that much to you because you took the time to write this book. And, you know, like I said, we've been trying to get together, but with social distancing, it's like, that's not happening. I mean, we could do it. We could get together, but you're only allowed so many people in your house.
Right.
I try to stay by that, but having read the book again yesterday, it was so uplifting. You know, it's like all of a sudden when I read it, because I'm a spiritual being having a human experience.
Right.
It really brought in the spirituality. It got into my soul and my very being, and, you know, my intuition saying, see, you should be this way, Marilyn. So that's one reason why I really liked the book and found it again, not only spiritually wonderful, but it was also a very much of a motivational feeling that I had. So we live in such a negative society, as you know, and people are still living in a negative society, and it doesn't help to watch the news. Friends, stop watching the news. Please just stop watching the news.
Right. It's the same I heard yesterday.
Yeah, it's the same stuff. It's just a day later, you know?
Right.
The numbers are different. I said to my husband, I said, so where do they get these numbers, you know? And our joke is he asked his brother, because his brother is always so lackadaisical. And so we're always saying, oh, they must ask your brother. So, yeah. So anyhow, that's the joke that we have. But I just find that staying positive and finding positive things to think about, like, what are you thankful for? Shawna, what are you thankful for?
I am thankful to be really healthy today. I have mentally, physically, emotionally, I feel healthy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And what I call, you know, one of the practices, I'm also a life strategic evolution coach. And one of the things I teach my clients is when they start to feel bad, is to sit in the seat of appreciation. So look around, ask yourself, what is it I don't have to worry about in the next 24 hours? Well, what is it I have to worry in the next week? You know, and that allows us to bring us back to the present moment and help us to see that what you're worrying about is not even a problem yet.
No, right. And I tell people when they worry, they need to throw it out to the universe or to God, or let them handle it out there. Let the tree handle it. Let the leaves handle it. Don't you deal with it, because that steals you of your peace and your joy. And when you're worried, when you're stressed, when you're afraid about what's going to happen in 10 minutes. I mean, unfortunately, there are people out there. There are people out there, and please don't be one of them, please.
Right.
When you are worried, when you're upset, turn it over to somebody, some higher power. Give it to your intuition. Let something else deal with it, because it robs you of your joy. It upsets your stomach. It gives you a headache, however you're handling your stress. People handle their stress in different ways. So if you want to find happiness, you know, get a book or listen to my radio show, or get in touch with Shawna. Or one of the things is get this book that she has, Goddess Awakening Rise Women. If you're a woman and you're having issues, whatever the issues are, I don't need to know them. Shawna doesn't need to know them. But whatever your issues are, there's a way to cross over that, to move through that challenge, because it's a challenge. Don't have it as a ball and chain on your leg. Get it up, move through it. I'm always talking to people to move through their challenge. We all have challenges every day. My biggest challenge is getting up in the morning. If I can get up in the morning, it's like, okay, deal me the cards that I have to play, and I will. I know that sounds weird, but the one good thing I'll tell you one thing I'm really thankful for. I'm not only thankful for the fact that you wrote this book, but I'm thankful for you too, Shawna, to be here with me. You know, so we can promote that book and promote your book and get people to realize Yeah, you can be a goddess. And guys, yeah, you have a woman who's a goddess. You know, get this book for them, because it will, it's just an amazing book that will enlighten you, will make you feel better, will just bring happiness to your life. And we all need happiness, because
Yes.
we're constantly barraged with a lot of negativity, you know. And I am not getting political on this, but we're being sequestered, and in my opinion, we don't need to be sequestered. That's my own personal opinion. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Shawna, without getting political, you know?
Um, you know what? I'm looking from the appreciation standpoint that I still go out, you know, once in a while. I don't go to big gatherings or anything like that. Of course, we don't have them. Some people still doing what they're doing, but this was a time for me, what I call to hibernate. It was a time for me to look at my life, to journal, to ask myself, what is it that I need to learn from this moment? Not to look at it as a bad thing, but ask myself, what is the learning piece of it for me right now? And when I come out of this, because I know I will, then how do I need to show up differently? Because, you know, one of the things I keep hearing, people are saying, okay, I can't wait for life to get back to normal. Life is not getting back to normal. So that's one of the things in our minds that we have to really shift, is knowing that life is not going to get back to normal. So if life is not going to get back to normal, I need to kind of really release some of that normality that I think is going to happen, and start to create, focus, get my thoughts and my mind on what is that new thing that's seeking to emerge from me, and work with that.
Like, what's the new normal? We are living in the new norm. You know, the question that I'm tired of hearing people ask, have you ever been through this before? Nobody's been through this before. None of us. The whole world has not been through this before. Unless you're like 100 years old and you dealt with the Spanish flu or the plague that came, you know, in the early 1900s. None of us have been through this. You've got to get used to it. You've got to adjust. Like, I put my office on virtual, so I can help people through Zoom or through whatever. And I'm giving 20 to 30 minute free consultations to help them get through stuff, you know, to help them with their anxiety. You know, I was talking to a couple people yesterday, and they're afraid to write. It's like, why are you afraid to write? Just put it down. Just start writing. I mean, that's how I started. That's probably how you started.
Right. You have the time now to do it.
Right. You have to take the time to do it. And the other thing is, you're not getting graded on this. Yeah, everybody thinks everybody's getting great. Who cares what somebody else thinks? Don't be a people pleaser. Do it for yourself. Be your own people pleaser. You know, do what.
You know, some people are still working with that. You know, some people that's like ingrained in them to want to get that approval from other people. And that's why you and I are where we are, because we help people to go beyond those limited thinking and move them into a space where they can explore their own desires versus lived by someone else's.
And it's difficult for somebody to turn into that, you know, to really shift and pivot, because they've lived in the people pleasing all their life or whatever. But it's time for people to stand up, put your big girl pants on, your big boy pants on, and just go for it, because you've got to get out of your comfort zone. Somebody told me when I started my TV show a couple years ago, I said, I am finally getting out of my box. I'm finally jumping out of my box. She looked at me and she said, Marilyn, there is no box. Friends, there's no box out there. It's the box that you put yourself in. This
mentally, right?
Yeah, here's the box right here, each side of your ears. Get out of the box. There is no box. Let those sides go down. Get out of your comfort zone, because if it's uncomfortable, that's where you want to be.
And keep an open mind.
Right.
Keep an open mind.
Right.
Get excited about what's next.
Right. Get excited for what's next. Try something you haven't done before. You know, if you want something bad enough and you don't know how to get it, you're going to have to do something that you've never done before.
Exactly.
And what is that? That's getting out of your comfort zone. That's turning into the goddess that you really want to be, where you say, well, I can't do that. Yes, you can. You can do whatever you want.
It's in your DNA.
That's right.
It's just dormant.
That's right. It's just laying there waiting for you to bring it out of its dormancy.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, so that's the important thing. That's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of being happy and looking at the grateful, the thankful things that people are thankful for. Like the fact that I can go to a meeting, but I don't have to put in a whole hour's worth of travel. I don't have to get up real early in the morning. I can get up 10 to 15 minutes before the meeting, click on, and I'm there.
Right.
I might not be fully awake, but I'm there. That's
right.
And those are the things I'm thankful for. I know they sound weird, but and the fact that we can save on gas, and now the price of gas is just really going down. I haven't filled my gas tank up for over 4 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, where am I going? To the grocery store and back? People say, "Are you going out?" It's like, no, and I don't do that. I go to the grocery store.
You know.
You went where?
To the park.
Yeah, well, a lot of parks they've closed down.
Well, you know, the ones that I go to, they have closed down, like the podiums and the gazebos and those gathering areas. But in the area, the actual trails and stuff, they haven't closed them down.
Well, it depends where you are.
Okay.
It depends where you are. Yeah, they've closed down like the swing sets and stuff like that, which frankly, I think that's kind of ridiculous. Kids need to get out and swing. I got swing in my backyard, so I'm thankful when my grandkids come over, they get on the swings, and which is good because it tires them out. They'll bring their bicycles over and it tires them out. So do something if you're bored and you don't know what to do, do some yoga or do some exercises or, lift weights. I was talking about that this morning on Facebook. I did a little Facebook Live. Get two cans of soup, and just keep, doing this for a little bit. Makes you feel better. So how can people get a copy of your book?
They can go to Amazon. I'm there and put in my name, or they can either put in the title of the book, Goddess Awakening, Rise Woman, and they can obtain a copy there.
Okay. How can they get in touch with you? Do you have an email you want to share or a phone number or
I
website?
There's a couple of places they can get in touch with me. They can go to www.prismoftransformation.com or prismoftransformation@gmail.com.
There you go, friends. That's how we can get in touch with the goddess that's going to awaken everybody else, Shawna Haley. Shawna, thank you so much for allowing us to spend time together. I appreciate it. It's wonderful. And when we get together, when Shawna and I get a chance to get together again and really hug and have some tea and enjoy the beauty of life, we'll let you all know, because we're going to get together, Shawna, come heck or high water after this is all over with, and run around or go to the park or, go get something to eat if the restaurants are open again. I hope that our 70-day sequestering is not going to be 70 days. So that's my prayer.
Thank you.
I wish you a lot of luck. Say hello to Michael. And we will be talking to you soon. And have a great day, and stay on don't go away yet. Okay.
I have a final word. One of the things I want women that are listening, or guys that are listening that want their women to feel amazing, just know that, to act now is a goddess mindset. And that basically means our goddess is an ordinary woman that puts on that's put in an extraordinary position, who choose to step up and take action.
Great. So ladies, step up and take action. Guys, buy this book for your woman. Step up and take action. Do this. We've only got one life. What are you going to do with yours? We only have 24 hours. What are you doing with your 24 hours?
Yes.
Wherever you go, there you are. You can't escape yourself. So learn to love yourself.
Yes.
Be the goddess that you really are.
Yes.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much, Shawna. And we're going to break for station identification, and we will be back soon.
Okay.